Well, hi again, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Diamond Chat, brought to you by Dr. Karen Kramer, your hometown dentist in Grafton and Elyria, and by First Federal Savings of Lorain. And not only is it another edition of Diamond Chat, it's the final edition of Diamond Chat. Boy, have we had a blast, yes, pun intended, bringing these shows to you each and every week. And boy, a huge thank you to our sponsors, Dr. Karen Kramer and First Federal Savings of Lorain. Tim Elkhorn with AM 930 WEOL, as always and throughout the year, joined by Sean Bennett of the Chronicle Telegram. I can speak for Sean and the both of us. We have had so much fun covering high school baseball and softball this year, not only on these Diamond Chat videos, but in the newspaper and on the radio side. And there's always that twinge of sadness when it comes to an end, Sean.
And definitely a twinge of sadness this time. I was hoping this episode would be about talking about a couple of state champions in softball, a couple of baseball teams still alive in the state tournament this week, and just kind of a tough ending for Lorain County in both diamonds. But hey, you know, it happens more often than not, unfortunately, but just some great things did happen this season, and luckily we get to talk about some of those things.
And it also goes to show you just how great the competition is, how the level of play gets better and better as you go throughout the tournament. On the baseball side, of course, 3 teams reached the regional. Vermilion got to the Elite Eight, couldn't get out of that regional at BG. Keystone and Elyria, Final Four in softball, and yet you run into great teams because, hey, the other teams are Final Four teams as well.
Right, yeah, it's high levels. Like, even people forget, last year, Keystone, one of the most dominant teams in the nation, finished number 4 in the nation, undefeated, won a state championship, but they only won 1-0 in the semifinals, and it took them 13 innings to win in the final. So it's not like they just went through and you know, breezed to a state title. You have to work for it, and same thing this year. It's just when you get to the end there in the state tournament and even in the regionals, every game is a grind.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, congratulations to all of the teams that did very, very well come tournament time. Well, speaking of congratulations, let's talk about our top 3 performers this week, both on the baseball and the softball side. So while the teams were winding down, we thought it was interesting that both in softball and in baseball, 3 local players got first team All-Ohio. Now, I'm sure it wasn't planned that we do top 3 performances, but not so much top 3 performances, but congratulations to 3 great players in our area, both softball and baseball-wise. Sean, why don't you start on the softball side?
I guess we can say it's top 3 season performances.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, let's talk about the 3 first-team All-Ohio selections in softball. We'll start with Macy Godbolt, junior at Elyria, junior catcher. Just probably the premier power hitter in the county this year, and probably one of the best power hitting performances that I've seen since I've been covering softball. Obviously, Sammy Steffen from Keystone comes to mind. We've had some great power hitters, but she tied the county record with 13 home runs in the season, and her 13th was monumental.
Wow.
A 2-run blast in the 6th inning of the state semifinals that tied the game with the eventual state champion Louisville. Just a nice shot. You know, she had a bunch of extra base hits, high average. She was just doing it all. Fantastic defensive catcher, great on the base pass, just a great all-around, softball player in Macy Godbolt.
And Macy, if you're watching, or Lady Pioneer fans, the home run you hit in the districts over at Avon Lake may have been one of the furthest home runs I've ever seen as it bounced in the parking lot. An unbelievable shot. I'll remember that forever.
Second up is Autumn Accord, another catcher. We're on a catcher theme here from Keystone, senior catcher. Just another, she's a 2-time first-team All-Ohio selection, as is my 3rd performer, Sydney Campbell of Keystone. I guess there's no reason to keep the curtain on that one. Both the Keystone girls finished with 2 All-Ohio first-team selections. Autumn, obviously, another great season, led the county in doubles. Obviously, last year set the county record in hits in a season. This year had a very memorable game, against Rocky River, where she hit 3 home runs, went 3 for 3 with 3 home runs, hit 2 home runs in an inning. So those are both county records as well. Well, the 2 home runs in an inning ties a county record as well. Just a great, another great hitter. Had 5 postseason home runs. She had 7 home runs, 5 of them came in the postseason. So just a fantastic finish for Autumn Accord. And then Sydney Campbell, again, obviously.
That's a shock.
Obviously, one of the greatest pitchers I've ever seen in Lorain County. Just the way she uses every inch of the strike zone. change of speeds, the movement on her pitches. She had a knock on her up until this season of not really being an overpowering pitcher because she didn't have huge, gaudy strikeout totals. She had them this year. She obviously set the county record for strikeouts in a 5-inning game when she struck out all 15 of Rocky River's hitters in a perfect game. She set the perfect game record for the county. She set the Ohio State record for consecutive wins with 63, which was the 5th best ever in the nation.
That's amazing.
Just an incredible career. Just a wonderful kid. Going to play at Oakland University next year. So just a great season, great career. I'm going to be keeping my eye on her. Maybe pop over to CSU when Oakland comes to town to watch a great Horizon League matchup there.
Yeah, it was an honor and a privilege to call her games on WEOL. A remarkable, remarkable career, as Sean just said.
Yeah.
All right, on the baseball side, 3 first-team All-Ohio players, all out of Division II. Boy, Division II was stacked this year. Great teams, great players, and 3 of them got All-Ohio first team. We'll start with Leighton Banjoff of Elyria Catholic High School. 2nd year in a row for Leighton that he received first-team All-Ohio honors. What a year he had. Hit 470, 4 home runs, 14 RBIs. He also had 11 doubles, and of course he's going on to play major Division I college baseball, Big Ten bound, as he'll be a Nebraska Cornhusker. But he had a terrific year for Bruce Lisicki's team. He was hit by pitches a lot, he got walked a lot, and yet still some gaudy offensive numbers, 470 with 4 home runs and 14 ribbies.
Yeah, a great senior season overall. Obviously I cover softball, not baseball, but I got to cover him a lot. Got to know him well in football. They had a great run. The Panthers did. Just a good kid. Another great, person off the field as well. Leighton Banjoff is fun to watch. He's already been in the paper this week playing for the Lake Erie Warhawks, the college summer wooden bat league or whatever they've got going on there. Producing big runs over there with a bunch of college players already.
Yeah, so. Just a quality young man. We talked about that last week with the awards, Mr. Baseball, Lou Rotundo Award. Just obviously a real great example of Elyria Catholic and the student athletes that come out of EC. All right, first team All-Ohio second guy, Alex Brill of Firelands High School. 2nd straight year that Alex Brill has also been a first-team All-Ohio selection. Had a terrific year over at Firelands High School for Dan Ransom's team. He was a pitcher and an outfielder. Boy, batting-wise, he was just tremendous at the plate. He had a 460 batting average, like Leighton Banjoff, 4 home runs, 21 RBIs. He really represents the best of Firelands baseball. As I said, 2nd year in a row, All-Ohio first team. So Dan Ransom's going to miss this young man as he moves on to the collegiate level.
Yeah, and I'm betting Alex would have traded that honor in for a little bit lengthier postseason run. They won a district championship last year, correct?
They did,
so
yep.
He probably was feeling like they had some, the unfinished business, wanted another shot at the regionals. I'm sure. It's kind of the cherry on top, but I'm sure he would have liked to have had one more shot at trying to get through that regional tournament.
But as we said, D2, man, it was stacked. Brutal. Although Firelands got upset, it was a Padua team that beat them, and they only had 2 wins. But doesn't diminish from the year that Alex Brill had. Yeah. And then our third first-team All-Ohio player from Lorain County, out of Vermilion High School. Boy, we had him early on Get a Grip with that sidearm motion that he had. Ridge Clark from Vermilion High School. I really enjoyed working with him on Get a Grip, and then, boy, he showed why in Get a Grip. He was a successful pitcher. 9-1 this year for Jeff Keck's team, which advanced to the Elite 8. He also had a great year at the plate, a .381 batting average. When I interacted with him on Get a Grip, just a friendly, terrific young man, represented Vermilion baseball very, very well, but obviously performed on the diamond as well. 9-1 season as a pitcher gets him first team All-Ohio in Division II. So congratulations to Ridge Clark.
Yeah, it's got to be nice to have a guy that you pretty much know when he's on the mound, you got a really good chance of winning. And he obviously, when he's not on the mound, he helps out on the offensive side, so a great two-way player. And it's always interesting to see which of those baseball players, because the baseball pitchers they're just showing up in the MLB left and right now for Lorain County. So
they are.
Will Ridge Clark, will we see him in an MLB uniform in a few years down the road? So I always kind of keep an eye on the Lorain County baseball pitchers, because that seems to be a position that really does well going forward after high school.
Absolutely. Eric Lauer out of Midview, now in the Padres organization. And how about the story of Ryan Firabend, who pitched all those years in Korea to develop a knuckleball, and now he's come back. So a couple of Midview middies with Lauer and Firabend representing Midview very well. Well, we mentioned at the outset a great big thank you to our sponsors this year, and one of those sponsors on Diamond Chat has been First Federal Savings of Lorain. Huge thank you to First Federal Savings of Lorain for sponsoring our Teams of the Week. Well, of course, as we tape this show, the season is over, but we got one more week of Teams of the Week. Sean, I'll let you start on the softball side.
Okay, well, obviously, we had two teams that competed in the state tournament. They both unfortunately lost in the state semifinals, so I'm going to have to kind of just go with Keystone simply because of the run they were on, what they were able to do during the season.
Oh, my.
Both teams competed very well in the state semifinal. Elyria obviously rallied late, tied the game late, and then just lost with a couple back-to-back home runs late in the sixth inning, bottom of the sixth inning. Keystone, same, rallied late in the inning, just couldn't complete the rally. But Keystone, wire-to-wire poll champions. They were number one team in Division II. They're ranked number one in the nation by Flow Softball with a 62-game winning streak. Ranked top 10 by pretty much every other organization. Just a phenomenal, 5 straight appearances in the Division II state tournament. So Keystone is going to be the kind of the team of the week / team of the season.
Yeah.
Just to kind of wrap up the season. Just excellence in that program.
It's amazing.
Over and over. So
you run out of superlatives as a broadcaster, as a sports writer. The adjectives to use to describe this Keystone softball program. It's just amazing, and of course, all the credit to Jim Piazza and the staff and the players and the community, because it really is. It's a village that has just unbelievably grown this softball program.
Yeah, and they start young. They have the young girls come. There was a bunch of young Keystone players watching the game down there at Firestone Stadium in Akron. So they get pumped up. They're ready.
Amazing.
When they entered the program, they know what's to expect, and they kind of are ready to play.
Yep. And on the boys' side of things, the First Federal Savings of Lorain Team of the Week, back to back. I'm going to go with Vermilion. Obviously, they were the last team standing as far as Lorain County baseball was concerned. Jeff Keck's team just had a marvelous season. Jeff Keck, you met him earlier this year during one of our From the Dugout segments. Just a great guy, a class act, a phenomenal coach. Got Vermilion to the district for the first time in a couple of decades. It had been a long time. They advanced to that Elite Eight game, came up short in the Elite Eight game against Van Wert, but boy, it doesn't diminish the year they had. We mentioned Ridge Clark and Mason Montgomery and some of the great players that they had, but Jeff Keck and his kids did a phenomenal job this year. So my First Federal Savings of Lorain Team of the Week, and perhaps piggybacking off Sean a little bit, Team of the Year, because they made it the furthest, one game away from the Final Four, the Vermilion Sailors. And I was happy for Jeff Keck. I've known him a long time, both in baseball and, of course, on the football side as well. Jeff is a coach, so he's a great guy, and I was really happy to see Vermilion go as far as they did. Great year. All right, before we wrap things up, I just want to take a moment or two and congratulate all of the teams, but I also want to send out a great big thank you to our good friend. Now, he'll never see this because he doesn't even know what the internet is, but Joe Tate. It was such a thrill to have Joe come on WEOL and call that Elyria regional final as Elyria won in Clyde against Perrysburg to go to the Final Four. And then he said, "Timothy, I'm coming back to Akron." And there he was in Firestone calling that Elyria State semifinal ball game against Louisville. Sean, you heard it. I kind of had the headsets on, but when the public address announcer made the announcement that Joe Tate was there broadcasting the game, and literally Firestone Stadium stood and cheered. And Joe gave the little wave and so forth. Yeah. But what a special moment. Yeah, that was really cool.
Standing ovation. It was definitely cool. But even before, I mean, he didn't even really need that introduction. Before they even kind of pointed out that he was there, you saw one guy after another coming up and shaking his hand and thanking him for the years of all the memories that they had listening to Cavs basketball and listening to him on the radio. And it was kind of cool, just to see the fans kind of recognize that he was there and kind of show their appreciation for what he did.
It was really cool. So if any of you know Joe, because he'll never see this, he doesn't even know what the World Wide Web is, let him know that we had some kind remarks for him. Well, as we said, the season has come to a conclusion. Sean, any final thoughts on the 2019 year before we watch a very special video put together by Bruce Bishop?
Well, just obviously 2 teams to the state tournament in softball. It's not. It's happened before, but it's always great to see that happen. So it's a successful year. We didn't win a state title, but it is a successful year. Both those teams have won state titles over the last 2 years. Elyria 2 years ago, Keystone last year. Excited for next year. Really young teams. Elyria only had 1 senior. Avon was a young team. North Ridgeville a young team. These are all teams that had great years and have a lot coming back. So I'm really excited to see next year. It's going to be a dogfight in the SWC. It's going to be a dogfight in that Division I district. Definitely going to be a great year next year, a great year this year. So yeah, I'm kind of pumped up for next year already.
As am I. Some terrific talent on the baseball side, even though we mentioned some seniors as far as all Ohio. There were some outstanding younger classmen, or underclassmen I should say, younger players that were involved in games this year, some up-and-coming programs. So I think the future is bright on both diamonds, the softball diamond and the baseball diamond.
And I mentioned young teams without mentioning Wellington, who had 7 freshmen and 2 sophomores in its lineup. You don't get much younger than that, so that's another team that's going to be exciting to watch too. But yeah, you're right. It's going to be a fantastic year on both diamonds next year. It's going to be awesome.
All right, so that's going to bring this to a conclusion. Again, a huge thank you to our sponsors, Dr. Karen Kramer, your hometown dentist in Grafton and Elyria, and First Federal Savings of Lorain. And as I mentioned, boy, it's really cool that Bruce Bishop has put together a real nice video tribute as far as the 2019 season on the Diamonds is concerned. So that's coming up next. You're going to love it. A lot of neat pictures. So Bruce Bishop's video is coming up. For Sean Bennett, I'm Tim Elkhorn. Thank you so much for watching all season long. And until we talk again, so long, everybody.